But I want you to know that I call myself the accidental environmentalist, and I truly mean that. You know, when I first came to the assembly, you know, I just went on my way, and you try to figure out the pieces and connect the dots and see how things work. But then you connect yourselves to the right people, the people who educate you as to the issues. And I know that Jim Walsh is here tonight, Food and Water Watch, and I have to tell you something that he educated me as to this process of fracking. And I know when he told me, I thought, no, you've got to be kidding me. This really isn't happening. And then I started to read, and then of course the movie Gasland only just says, you watch that, and when you see the pictures, you read the words, all of this just is not good. So he said, we need you to do something for us. So Senator Gordon and I came on board, and listen, I have to tell you, when he first told me, I didn't know what to do. So I put forward 3 resolutions. One to just say, hey, the guys in the Delaware River Water Basin, you can't be doing this to us. I want New Jersey to vote no. And then I wanted the Congress to say, okay, let us know what chemicals you are using. Let's be open and honest about this. And so we proposed the full ban, and guess what? It passed. It passed the Senate, and it passed the Assembly. And it passed rather easily. So for the first time in my life, I said, no, I'm not willing to compromise. We're going with the full ban. And it passed. So now, is this real? When people say to me, this fracking, it's not real. It's not coming to New Jersey. Oh, it is very, very real. And we know that in Ohio, they are investigating the Utica Shale, and they're about ready to start with Utica Shale. And we know that New Jersey is rich in Utica Shale. So will it come to New Jersey? Absolutely.
We just found out that he won an Emmy Award for Outstanding Directing for Nonfiction Programming. There's nothing else to say, but please, we want to hear from you, and we're so happy you're here. Welcome, Josh Fox.
And so you heard that your state legislature valorously passed a ban on fracking. Unbelievable. It was the first of its kind in the nation. But Christie then vetoed it, which was disappointing. Even though it was passed overwhelmingly, it was something like, what was the vote? 41 to 2, something like this? Does Jim know? Anybody know? There were no. What's that?
One member of the New Jersey Senate voted against banning fracking.
One.
And 11 in the Assembly.
Okay. So it was, you know, they have enough votes to override the veto. The question is, will it happen? But Governor Christie then passed a moratorium, a 1-year moratorium. Is that right?
Yes.
It's very superficial kind of a thing to do, and we do know that New Jersey is very much involved with the fate of the Delaware River for a number of reasons. Even if you ban the act of fracking in New Jersey, and they go ahead and frack Pennsylvania and upper Delaware, you're going to have a lot of negative effects. Pipelines, first of all. I've heard about pipelines coming through here to bring liquefied natural gas, liquefied natural gas ports. These things are also quite dangerous. You see these pipelines explode all the time, or they leak, and they're not something you want to live around. Of course, downriver issues, anybody getting water in Delaware, which happens in southern New Jersey, you get water from Trenton, as I mentioned in the film. And the other part of this, which I think is extremely concerning, which doesn't get enough attention, is the air part of it. There was a study that was just released that in Wyoming, and you saw it in the film, the air is worse than Los Angeles. And there is no other explanation for that other than gas drilling. And if you take a look at Al Armendariz' air report, At the time when we made the film, he made the report, 7,700 gas wells in Fort Worth created as much air pollution as all of the cars and trucks in the Dallas and Fort Worth Metroplex, which is the 4th largest city in America taken altogether. The proposal for the river basin is 22,000 gas wells, last I heard. The proposal for Pennsylvania is 180,000 gas wells. The proposal for New York is in the 100,000 gas wells. Now, can you imagine? That's like, even in the river basin, building 3 Dallas-Fort Worths worth of air pollution less than 75 miles from here. What I do know is that we're facing a real challenge right now as we run out of fossil fuels on the planet. We're running out of oil, we're running out of gas, we're running out of coal. As those things get scarcer and scarcer, and the world needs more and more energy, instead of doing something rational and sane, which would be to develop renewable energy, solar, which we are doing a great deal of here in New Jersey, actually, wind and geothermal, hydropower, the renewable energies which actually can power the world. We know that they can. We have enough sun, we have enough wind. And that's the good news. The good news is that there's like a way out of this. It's not a problem. But you can solve this problem because you can develop solar, you can develop wind, you can develop renewable energy, sustainable alternatives to doing this, and that this proposal is really just about greed. It has nothing to do with, because those LNG ports that they're planning to take the gas from the river basin are going to overseas. So these things don't add up. And we're going to take questions in a second. So, but I do have faith, you know, and there is a thing in your program about the protest that will come up on October 21st when the DRPC will make this decision. And I do know that what will happen for those of us who've been in this for 3 years, 4 years, is that it will be a very, very concerted effort over a long period of time. But I would invite you, please consider to come on the 21st, where there will be a opportunity to speak out, opportunity to stand with us, and oppose this development, because it is the health of this region. If they go ahead with this and the DRPC says 20,000 gas wells, you got 3 or so Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex air pollution, and you're downwind of there.
Could you please tell the good folks here in New Jersey about those groups in northeastern Pennsylvania that would gather and have opposition to hydraulic fracking, and what government agencies were monitoring such groups?
The government leaked Homeland Security document that said that the Pennsylvania Department of Homeland Security was monitoring gas drilling groups, including Damascus citizens who are from my neighborhood, so the film was dedicated to them. Again, we didn't get all the way through the credits, but it's dedicated to them. And they were coming to Gasland screenings and reporting some kind of information. And in these Pennsylvania intelligence bulletins, which were a secret project of the Department of Homeland Security, Pennsylvania taxpayers paying these contracts to, is things that we call the International Terrorism Research and Response Group. So we became aware that we were in these bulletins, and the bulletins said, written by the scary blue hand guy in this creepy owl, that anti-fracking groups, which were much like this room here, normal people concerned about their own environment, their own backyard, were environmental extremists bordering on terrorism, and that violent crime would be on the rise. Now, actually, if you look at the health report from Colorado, violent crime and also especially sexual crime and drug crime goes on the rise in gas drilling areas. Because, no, it's true. You can look at this, they studied it in the health index, that those types of crimes, indexes went up in all these gas drilling areas. You have migrant workers, you have man camps, you have dudes that are working 12 hours a day. A lot of them will end up, you know, partying and doing what sometimes, you know, young men without any attachments in a certain place will do. Just get into fights, you know, and drink a lot, get into car wrecks,